The border that no one crosses, the outer Rim Patrol Station, floated at the very edge of known space. From here, you could see the black stretch of the void beyond, a place where no star shone and no ship dared to go. Every alien who served here knew the truth. There were borders you could cross, and there were borders you never touched. One of those was marked on every Galactic Union star map in thick red lines. The zone was labeled simply, "Terran space, do not enter." The warning wasn't just protocol. It was survival. Inside the control deck, Captain Vorak of the Drellin species stood at the main viewport, his scaled hands clasped behind his back. His eyes, yellow and sharp, were fixed on the dark expanse. "Keep watch," he told his crew, "and keep your distance." Always. A young recruit, barely out of training, shifted nervously at the sensor station. "Captain, why is this border so absolute?" he asked. "I've heard the stories, but they can't all be true. Can they?" Vorak's jaw tightened. Around the room, the older crew members glanced at each other, but no one answered. The station's engines hummed quietly in the background. Finally, Vorak spoke. "Some borders," he said slowly, "exist because of politics. Some exist because of fear. And this one exists because no one who crosses it comes back." The recruit laughed weakly. "That's just a myth, isn't it?" Vorak turned his gaze to him, his voice flat. "Do you see me laughing?" The recruit swallowed hard. He didn't ask again. For hours, the station ran as normal long-range scans, trade route monitoring, routine cargo checks. Ships passed near the zone, but never crossed it. Then, at 0300 Standard Time, the quiet broke. A sharp alarm rang across the control deck. "Distress signal. Called Lieutenant Ra," her voice cutting through the hum of machines. "Coordinates incoming. It's inside the Terran zone." The crew froze. Even the air seemed to still. Vorak's brow furrowed. "Source?" "A civilian convoy. Ra?" Sighed, scanning her console. 3 cargo haulers, 1 escort. "They're under attack." She stopped, frowning. "Signals degrading fast." "By whom?" Vorak demanded. "I can't identify," she admitted. "The feed's breaking. Up. Could be pirates. Could be—" She didn't finish the thought. Everyone knew what else it could be. "Patch it through," Vorak ordered. The speakers filled with static and fragmented cries. A voice broke through, panicked. "Anyone help?" Then silence. The recruit looked around in disbelief. "We can't just ignore them, can we?" Vorak's face was like stone. "Protocol is clear. We do not cross." But not everyone on the station agreed. On a side channel, a voice crackled in. "Patrol Shuttle 3, requesting permission to enter Terran space for rescue." Vorak's head snapped toward the comms officer. "Deny it. Too late." On the tactical display, a small blip detached from the station and began moving toward the red border. Patrol Shuttle 3, piloted by Captain Henner, known for his stubborn sense of honor. "Open a channel," Vorak snapped. Henner's voice came through, calm but firm. "Sir, I can't sit here and watch innocents die. If there's even a chance. You know the law." Vorak cut him off. "You know the risk." "I do," Henner said, "and I'm still going." The channel cut. On the main display, the shuttle moved closer to the red line. Vorak's claws dug into the edge of the console. "He doesn't know what he's walking into," he muttered. The crew watched in silence as the shuttle crossed the border. Instantly, the sensors began to glitch. The shuttle's transponder flickered. The stars around it seemed to shift, as if space itself was bending. The image grew darker, as though a shadow had fallen across the view. "What's happening to the feed?" The recruit whispered. "Nothing's happening to the feed," Vorak said grimly. "It's happening to them." Through the static, a faint shape appeared, something massive, far behind the shuttle. At first, it looked like a distant asteroid. Then it moved. The shape was long, sleek, and utterly black, swallowing the faint starlight around it. No markings, no lights. Just the cold outline of a warship, unlike any design known in the Galactic Union. The recruit's breath caught. Is that? Vorak didn't answer. Then, without warning, a voice filled the comms. Deep, human, and perfectly clear. Turn back. Every hair on the recruit's neck stood on end. Henner's voice came through, steady but tense. This is Patrol Shuttle 3 of the Galactic Union. We are here to assist a civilian convoy. Identify yourself. The human voice replied, calm as a knife sliding into flesh. This is your first and only warning. And then, silence. The black ship was gone, vanished, as if it had never been there. The crew stared at the empty feed, no one daring to speak. Far out in the dark, Henner's shuttle pressed on, unaware that something far older, far deadlier than pirates, was now watching every move he made. And on the station, Vorak closed his eyes and whispered the words every veteran knew by heart. No one crosses into human space and lives to tell the tale. First steps into the void. The border was behind them now. Captain Henner's patrol shuttle glided forward into the dark, its engines whispering against the silence of Terran space. Every alien in the galaxy knew this region was empty on the star charts. No stations, no colonies, no beacons. Yet, as Henner's crew drifted deeper, it felt anything but empty. Inside the shuttle's control room, Lieutenant Sarek scanned the panels. His eyes narrowed. Captain, our long-range sensors are acting strange. It's like something is pushing back. Pushing back? Henner repeated. Yes, Sarek said slowly. Like there's a pressure, not interference. Something active. The navigator, a small, quick-fingered Trillian, leaned over her console. Our position keeps shifting. We're reading the same coordinates 3 times in a row. Henner frowned, but didn't slow. Stay focused on the distress signal. Civilians first. The signal was still there, faint but steady somewhere ahead. The noise in the background almost sounded like breathing. From the back of the control room, Ensign Rill spoke up. Sir, is it me? Or does it feel colder in here? Henner glanced at the temperature readout. It was dropping by itself. Adjust the internal climate, he ordered. But when Rill tried, the controls didn't respond. Static scratched across the comms for a moment, then faded. Everyone froze. It was followed by a voice. Turn back. The same voice they'd heard before. Deep, human. Sarek's frills flattened in alarm. Captain, that's no random signal. They're talking to us. Henner leaned forward to the comms. Unknown vessel. This is Captain Henner of the Galactic Union Patrol. We are here on a rescue mission. We do not seek conflict. The reply came after a pause, quiet but sharp. Leave now. Not without the convoy, Henner said firmly. The voice didn't answer. Instead, the shuttle's lights flickered. For 3 seconds, the entire interior went black. When the lights returned, every system was still online, except the forward cameras. The main view screen now showed only static. Switch to secondary optics. Henner ordered. The picture came back, but it wasn't the same. Empty starfield. Something was there. A massive shape hung in the darkness ahead, larger than any warship the crew had ever seen. Its outline was jagged, unnatural. No running lights, no visible weapons. Just a deep, dark hall that seemed to swallow all light around it. The navigator whispered, That is not on any registry. Sarek checked his readings. It's not even showing on our sensors. As far as the computer is concerned, there's nothing there. The shape didn't move. It just Watch. Hennar kept his voice steady. Maintain course. We are not here to provoke. As they approached, something strange happened. The space between the stars began to bend. It was as if the background itself was warping, curling toward the black vessel. The rookie engineer in the back whispered, "It's like space is afraid of it." Suddenly, the distress signal grew louder, but now it was mixed with another sound low, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Then, a second shape appeared behind the first, and a third, and a fourth. The crew's stomachs turned cold. The shapes were identical, black, silent, massive. They moved in perfect unison, shifting into a wide formation that blocked the shuttle's path completely. Hennar gripped the armrests of his chair. "They're escorting us." "No," Sarek said quietly. "They're trapping us." A faint glow began to build along the edge of the lead ship. It wasn't bright like normal weapon. Fire more like the deep red of an old ember. The coms crackled again. "This is your last warning." Hennar didn't respond right away. His eyes flicked to the crew. Fear was written on every face. But they were Union patrol. They had a duty. "Plot the fastest course to the convoy's signal," he ordered. The navigator hesitated. "Sir." "They're between us and the signal." Hennar's voice hardened. "Then we go through." The shuttle's engines roared, surging forward. The black ships didn't move to fire. They simply adjusted their formation, closing in as the void around them seemed to grow heavier, darker. Sarek's console beeped sharply. "Captain, our power levels just dropped to 40%. Divert everything to propulsion," Hennar ordered. "It's not a power drain," Sarek said, his voice tight. "It's like the ship itself is slowing time." No one spoke after that. The only sound was the hum of the engines, the faint heartbeat-like thump on the coms, and the knowledge that they were now deep in a place the rest of the galaxy feared to even look at. And somewhere beyond those silent warships, the missing convoy waited, if it still existed at all. The ghost fleet appears. The convoy's signal grew weaker with every passing minute. The faint pulse on the scanner flickered like it was dying, fading in and out of existence. Hennar sat rigid in his chair, his eyes fixed on the distorted display. "Hold course," he ordered. The crew didn't argue, but no one relaxed. The black shapes ahead were moving again, slow, deliberate, like predators keeping pace with prey. Sarek's voice was low. "Captain, we've got no record of these ships. Not in any Union database, not in any archive. It's like they've never existed." "They exist now," Hennar said flatly. The shuttle passed between two of the massive vessels. They didn't fire. They didn't signal. But every crew member could feel them watching. The hull groaned. Not from damage, but from something stranger. It was like the very metal was under pressure from the surrounding space. That the navigator glanced up nervously. "Sir, readings say we're stationary." "That's impossible," Hennar replied. "Not impossible," Sarek said grimly. "Look outside." They did. The stars were no longer moving, not because they had stopped, but because space around them had gone still. And then it happened. A ripple passed through the void ahead. From that ripple, another warship emerged larger than the others, its hull. A jagged cathedral of black metal. It had no engines visible, yet it drifted forward with silent precision. On the main hull, faint lines of deep crimson glowed, pulsing like veins. The light wasn't bright. It was the glow of something ancient, something patient. The rookie engineer whispered, "That's not a warship. That's a predator." The crimson lines brightened for a moment, and every console in the shuttle went dead. Lights, engines, weapons, everything. The crew sat frozen in the dark. Then the voice returned. "You should not be here." It wasn't angry. It wasn't loud. It was worse. It was calm. Hennar took a breath. "We are here to rescue civilians." "Identify yourself." The reply was instant. You cross into Forbidden's ground. There are no civilians here. Only warnings. You will not hear twice." As the voice faded, the main view screen lit up again, without anyone touching the controls. The image was not of the convoy, Dot. It was a battlefield. Charred. Union ships floated in silence, their hulls cracked, open like eggshells. Whole fleets reduced to wreckage. Henner's stomach tightened. He recognized the hull design's war-era craft from centuries past. The rookie swallowed. This is from the Terran War, isn't it?" Sarek shook his head slowly. "No. Some of these designs are newer." That realization hit the crew like ice water. This graveyard wasn't just old. It was growing. The largest black ship drifted closer until it filled the entire screen. Its hull was scarred, but none of the damage looked fresh. These scars weren't from battle. They were from ages. Henner forced his voice steady. "We're not here to fight." The voice returned one last time. "You will not fight. You will leave." And then the crimson glow across the ship heightened to blinding. The crew shielded their eyes. When the light faded, the shuttle systems roared back online. Engines, lights, weapons, everything. Except navigation. The star map now showed nothing but black space around them. The convoy signal was gone. No one spoke. Not until Sarek said, "Captain, look behind us." They turned to the rear view screen. The path back to the border was gone, blocked by a perfect wall of black warships. The Ghost Fleet had closed the trap. The lesson begins. The Ghost Fleet surrounded the patrol shuttle in perfect silence. No movement. No hails. No visible weapons. Yet the air inside felt heavier, pressing on every chest. Captain Henner stood slowly from his chair, his eyes scanning the wall of black holes outside. "All stop," he ordered. The engines faded to a low hum. "Sir?" The rookie engineer whispered. We're trapped." "No," Henner said, though his voice lacked conviction. "We're still talking. They could have destroyed U.S. already." The comms crackled. The deep human voice returned. "You seek a convoy." Henner stepped toward the console. "Yes, 3 cargo haulers, 1 escort. They sent a distress signal." "Where are they?" There was a pause too long. Then the voice spoke again. "See for yourself." The main view screen flickered, then changed. At first, the crew thought it was an asteroid field. Then they saw the shapes: bent metal, shattered hulls, drifting in slow motion. The remains of the convoy. Some ships were torn clean in half. Others were pocked with black, smoking holes. Pieces of cargo floated among the wreckage containers, split open, spilling their contents into the void. Sarek stared, his voice cold. "No survivors." The rookie shook his head. This wasn't pirates. Pirates don't do this." The voice returned, almost like it could hear him. "Correct." Henner gritted his teeth. "If it wasn't pirates, then who?" The screen went black. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, without warning, the lead black warship moved. Slowly, it turned toward a nearby moon, a pale, cratered rock in the distance. "Sir," the navigator whispered. "Weapons." "They're charging." A dull red glow began to spread along the warship's edges, crawling like molten veins across its hull. The light concentrated at the prow. Then one single shot. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. But the moon cracked. The crew watched, frozen, as a fracture ran from one end of the lunar surface to the other. The entire moon split apart, each half drifting away in silence. The rookie's hands trembled on the console. "One shot, just one." The voice returned, calm as ever. "This is the fate of trespassers. You are alive because we choose you to live." The words hung in the air. Henner forced himself to speak. "We didn't come to invade. We didn't come to take anything. We came because lives were at stake." The voice was quiet for a moment. You crossed the line. There is no reason great enough to justify it. The black warships adjusted position, each one now facing the shuttle directly. The light from the cracked moon glinted off their armor. The pressure inside the cabin grew worse. The lights flickered again. The crew felt their skin prickle with the strange sense of being weighed, measured, judged. "Captain," Sarek murmured. Eyes on his sensors. "I think they're scanning us." Deep scan. "Not just the ship us." Henner's jaw clenched. "Let them look." The voice came again, colder now. "You carry the arrogance of your kind. This is your last moment to turn back." The crew looked to Henner. Even the rookie knew this wasn't a bluff. Henner exhaled slowly. "We're not leaving until we—" Before he could finish, the shuttle jolted hard to the side. No explosion, no weapon strike. It was as if some invisible hand had pushed them. The voice cut in, louder this time. "Leave." Every console lit, up with red warning symbols. Engine temperature spiked. Navigation failed completely. The hull groaned under invisible strain. The rookie gripped his seat. "Sir, they're going to crush us without firing a single shot." Henner's gaze stayed locked on the lead warship. It didn't move closer. It didn't need to. He knew now this wasn't just a warning for them. This was a warning meant for the entire galaxy. The trap closes. The shuttle's engines screamed under the strain, but they weren't moving anywhere. It felt as if the space around them had turned solid, trapping them inside an invisible cage. Captain Henner kept his eyes on the lead black warship. "Status?" Sarek's hands moved quickly across his dead consoles. "Navigation offline. Junk drive locked out. Engines powering, but we're not moving." The rookie engineer glanced at the readings, his face pale. "Sir, I think they're controlling the space around us." Henner stared at him. "You mean?" "They're not just blocking us," the rookie said in a trembling voice. "They've changed the rules of space itself. Every direction. We try to go, loops back here." The navigator's voice cracked. "Captain, I've plotted 5 escape vectors. Every one of them leads deeper into their territory." Silence fell over the crew. The Ghost Fleet adjusted their formation. The ships moved so perfectly in sync that it was like watching one mind control them all. They tightened the circle, the black holes blotting out what few stars were left in. The comms hissed. At first, it was just static. Then whisper soft, overlapping voices in dozens of alien languages. The rookie clapped his hands over his ears. "It's in my head, make it stop." Sarek turned to Henner, his face grim. "They're not just transmitting. They're speaking directly into our minds." Henner took a step toward the comms console. "Identify yourself." He barked. The whispers stopped. Only one voice remained now, the deep human voice they'd heard before. "You are not the first to defy the line." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "Others came before you. Scouts, raiders, fleets. They thought themselves stronger, faster, smarter. They were wrong." Without warning, the view screen lit up. It wasn't the void anymore. It was a vision. The crew saw massive alien fleets, ships they recognized from the great powers of the galaxy, crossing into Terran space. They saw them vanish one by one, swallowed by the black. Some tried to run, but no matter how far they fled, the Ghost Fleet followed until nothing was left. The vision shifted. Planets burning, orbital stations torn apart, entire worlds erased from the maps. The rookie whispered, "They're showing us the truth." The image faded back to the black warships surrounding them. Henner's voice was low but steady. "You could have destroyed us already. Why are we still alive?" The answer came without hesitation. "So you may carry the message back." The lead warship moved forward, closing the distance. The sheer size of it dwarfed their shuttle until it felt like a grain of dust in front of a mountain. A faint blue. Light spread along the shuttle's hull. Sarek glanced at the sensors. They're marking us. The rookie looked out the viewport. The light was forming a symbol, a human skull, over crossed stars, burned into their plating. Why? The rookie asked in a shaking voice. The voice answered, almost coldly amused. So all who see you will know where you have been, and why they should never follow. The blue glow faded, but the mark remained, etched deep into the metal. The ghost fleet didn't fire. They didn't ram. They didn't need to. Instead, the ships held position, hemming them in tighter and tighter. Henner realized this wasn't a battle anymore. It was theater. The humans were letting them feel the trap, letting the fear sink into their bones, so they'd never forget. He straightened, meeting the shadowed silhouette of the lead warship on the screen. "If we leave," he said slowly, "we'll tell them what we saw." The voice replied, its tone flat. "That is the point." The message to the galaxy, the blue mark still glowed faintly on the shuttle's hull, like a brand burned into the metal. The crew stared at it through the viewport. Silent dot, then the coms flared again. This time, the deep human voice wasn't just in their ears, it was inside their heads. "You do not understand what you have crossed into. You think it is space. You think it is territory. It is not. It is memory, and memory does not forgive." The crew shifted uncomfortably, as if the voice was peeling away their thoughts. Henner kept his tone steady. "We've heard the stories about the war, that it ended because the Union forced peace. Is that true?" The voice was quiet for a long time. Then, "The Union tells itself many lies. This one is their favorite." The lead black warship moved closer. Its shadow fell over the shuttle until the stars disappeared completely. The view screen came alive again, not with live images, but with visions from the past. They saw the war, not as the history books told it, but as it truly happened. Terran fleets, outnumbered 10-1, tearing through alien armadas with brutal precision. Human. Warships burning enemy capitals in a single strike. The faces of alien leaders, pale and shaking, signing desperate surrenders. The vision shifted, planets turned into glass, oceans boiled into steam, cities erased in firestorms. "They came to us with demands," the voice said. "We answered in kind. They wanted our surrender. We gave them extinction." The images grew darker. Ships that had crossed into human territory were shown stripped apart, their crews gone. Not captured, gone. The rookie's hands trembled. You killed everyone?" "No," the voice replied. "Some we left alive, so they could tell the others." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. It was clear now, this was not negotiation. This was ritual. The voice continued, each word slow and deliberate. "We have no interest in ruling the galaxy. We have no interest in its politics or its borders. We care for only one law, our own. Cross into human space, and you are already dead." Sarek swallowed hard. "Then why let us live?" "Because you will carry our message back. And because you have seen enough to believe it." The lead warship backed away slightly, revealing the other black ships holding their perfect formation. "You will return to your Union. You will show them the mark on your hull. They will ask what it means. You will tell them. And you will never come back." The rookie engineer leaned toward Henner and whispered, "Captain, I think they mean it. Every word." Henner didn't answer. He didn't need to. The voice spoke. "One final time. Remember this moment, Captain Henner. In the history of your people, there will be wars and battles and victories. But there will be no second crossing into our space. Not while we remain." The comms went silent. The ghost fleet began to move. The ships split apart with perfect symmetry, opening a narrow corridor through the wall of black holes. Beyond that passage lay the faint, familiar stars of Union space. Henner knew this was no act of mercy. It was a demonstration. A corridor now. A wall forever. Engines ahead, he ordered quietly. The shuttle drifted forward through the corridor. None of the ghost fleet moved to follow, but the crew could feel their eyes on them the whole way. When the last black warship slipped from view, the stars returned. The shuttle's sensors began to work again, but no one cheered. No one even spoke. They were alive, but they knew the truth now. And soon, so would the galaxy. No one crosses again. The patrol shuttle limped into Union space. It should have been. A relief, the familiar beacons, the soft ping of safe zone transmitters. But the crew didn't feel safe. Not really. Not after what they had seen. Union command ships intercepted them within minutes. Henner's shuttle was escorted to the nearest military dock, where officers and engineers swarmed in. The first thing everyone noticed was the mark. A human skull over crossed stars, burned deep into the hull plating. It glowed faintly, like it was alive. What is that? One officer demanded. Henner didn't answer. He walked past them, his face set like stone. The others followed, silent. In the debriefing room, Union officials pressed them for answers. Where is the convoy? Why did you cross the border? What did you see out there? Henner said only one thing. We survived because they let us. The officials didn't understand at first, but then they reviewed the shuttle's recordings. They saw the vision of the ghost fleet, the destruction of the moon, the mark being burned into the hull, and they heard the voice. The room went silent. One admiral closed the file and muttered, "We'll never speak of this publicly." But secrets never stay. Buried for long, the crew's faces, pale and hollow-eyed, told their own story. Word spread fast, first in whispers across military channels, then through the smuggler networks, then across entire star systems. They began calling it the crossing. Pilots swore that if you went near Terran space, the ghost fleet would come for you. Merchants changed trade routes overnight. Whole sectors of the galaxy were redrawn, not by politics or treaties, but by fear. Within a month, Union cartographers doubled the size of the no-entry zone on all official star maps. It was no longer just a warning, it was law. The rookie from Henner's crew left the service. In every spaceport he visited, he told the same words to anyone who'd listen. Don't go there. Don't even think about it. Human space isn't defended. It's owned. By something you can't fight. By something that's already watching you. In time, the mark on Henner's shuttle became legendary. Whenever it docked, spacers would stare at the skull and cross stars, whispering that it was cursed. Some wouldn't even walk near it. The Union tried to keep quiet, but in the outer systems, no one needed convincing. Ships turned away from the border on sight. Navigation charts stopped showing jump routes that even came close. One night, alone in his quarters, Henner replayed the final words of the human voice in his head. There will be no second crossing. He believed them. Because in the weeks after their return, strange reports began to surface. A pirate fleet vanished without a trace near the Terran border. A smuggler ship went dark mid-transmission, its last message a single word, watching. And once, just once, a Union patrol reported seeing a black warship far from the border, drifting silently in deep space. No attack, no hail, just watching. Henner never spoke of it again, but across the galaxy, the truth became unshakable law. No alien dares cross into human space, because those who do never come back.